At the time that I'm recording this video, in November of 2021, the topic of popular musicians writing songs about their exes, relationship breakups, and divorces is being discussed. Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake seem to have written songs about each other. Taylor Swift is known for writing about her famous ex-boyfriends. The newest singer to join the ranks of those who write about their previous relationships is Summer Walker. Apparently, her Still Over It album contains some content about her tumultuous relationship with her ex-boyfriend, music producer London on the Track. Before any of these singers made breakup music, someone else did. This is where we open our time capsule for the culture to discuss Marvin Gaye and his very public and very nasty divorce to Anna Gordy, the sister of founder of Motown Records, his boss, Berry Gordy. By 1977, Marvin Gaye had divorced his first wife. He was financially broke, and half of the profits he would make for his upcoming album would flow directly into his ex-wife's pockets. So he dedicated that album to the falling apart of their marriage. This is a story that has it all: love, hate, a huge age gap, a power struggle, children, money, and another woman. Let's get into it. But first, if you like these videos about your favorite and most scandalous celebrities from yesteryear that make the Ty Said What Ty Said channel a time capsule for the culture, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know every time that I upload one of these videos or every time that I live stream, and comment "I subscribed" in the comment section so that I can say hello to you. Now, on to why you are here. Anna Gordy is Berry Gordy's older sister, and like her brother, she was in the record business. Actually, before her brother, she was in the record business. Anna started her own record label before Berry Gordy. Shortly before Berry launched Motown's predecessor, Tamla Records, Anna founded Anna Records with her sister, Gwen Gordy, and songwriter Billy Davis. This is where she met her future husband, Marvin Gaye, not at Motown, like so many people incorrectly say. Yes, the 20-year-old musician was hired as a session musician by Anna Records before he ever signed to Motown. Anna was 41 when she married Marvin in 1963. He was 23. A huge age difference for sure. Some sources say that he was 24. Either way, we're looking at about 17 years, and that is huge. He was an upcoming singer. She was the sister of Berry Gordy, who was the founder of the highly acclaimed Motown Records. Even though Marvin would later say he married Anna just to get a more prominent position with Berry Gordy, it appears that the marriage was a happy one at first, at least by the couple's standards. Marvin's career took off, and he had some major hits. He got attention, lots and lots of it, from women, and he couldn't resist the temptation. Because of it, some fights arose between the couple. At the end of the 1960s, the marriage was de facto over. Both parties were seeing other people, but it never came to a divorce. Marvin was afraid he would fall from grace with Berry Gordy, and Anna didn't want to change her lifestyle and give up her husband, who was arguably the biggest soul singer in music at that time. In 1973, 4 years before he divorced Anna, Marvin fell in love with Janice Hunter, who was just 16 years old. He was in his 30s and 17 years older than she. An odd coincidence, seeing as his wife had been 17 years older than he. 1 year after being in this relationship with Janice, their daughter, Nona, was born. When Janice got pregnant with their second child, Anna Gordy had finally had enough. She filed for divorce. Even though Marvin didn't want to be with Anna, he delayed the process. He had to pay Anna $6,000 a month for spousal support and child support, but he flatly refused. It even led to an arrest warrant being issued against Marvin. But no matter what Marvin did or tried, the divorce was inevitable, and so were the payments. As a result of Marvin's delays, Anna demanded $1 million. But here was the problem. Marvin simply didn't have that kind of money. He had always been stupid and careless with money. He overspent on luxury items and his expensive, out-of-control drug addiction. So, to try to help him out, his lawyer made a proposition. Marvin would pay $600,000. Half of the amount was payable from the advances for his next album. The other half were to be paid from the profits of the album's sales. Anna agreed, and not really having much of a choice in the matter, Marvin went along with the very unusual arrangement too. Here are Marvin Gaye's own words about this project that he originally didn't want to do. Quote, "I figured I'd just do a quickie record, nothing heavy, nothing even good. Why should I break my neck when Anna was going to wind up with the money anyway? But the more I lived with the notion of doing an album for Anna, the more it fascinated me. Besides, I owed the public my best effort. Finally, I did the record out of deep passion. It became a compulsion. I had to free myself of Anna, and I saw this as the way." End quote. Well, as we know, Marvin eventually got the work done. Here, My Dear, was his 15th album, and it was released on December 15th, 1978, on Motown Records, a subsidiary label of Motown. Lyrically, it is a report on the marriage, from Marvin Gaye's point of view, of course. The album is explicitly dedicated to Anna Gordy. The opening lines to the album are, "I guess I'd have to say this album is dedicated to you. Although perhaps you may not be happy, this is what you want." Many of the songs were recorded and written immediately following courtroom visits, which makes the emotion even more tangible. One of the songs is called "You Can Leave, But It's Going to Cost You." He gave that song its name from a direct quote from Anna to him. Surprisingly, there's a loving song about Anna on the album. It's called Anna's Song. Of course, the album only portrays one side of the story. Marvin wanted to save the marriage. It seems because that was the best thing for his career, as he had clearly moved on romantically with his teenage girlfriend. Whereas Anna, at that point, was done after Marvin's second child out of wedlock. Now, she just wanted to get out and to get money. It wasn't only the songs that made a statement. A quick look at the album's cover art shows you just what was going on, pun intended, from Marvin's point of view. The gatefold of the cover shows the picture of something that looks like a Monopoly board game that bears the word Judgment, where Monopoly would be. Two hands over the board portray Marvin and Anna Gordy. The male hand gives a record to the female hand. The male side of the board holds tape recorders, a piano, and a $1 bill. On the female side are all of the worldly possessions, a house, a car, money, and jewelry. In other words, the only thing that Marvin had left was his music. Anna already had it all, but still wanted more. In his mind, even his music, the only thing that he possessed, wasn't safe from Anna's grip. Even her hands look more animalistic and like claws than regular human hands. When the album came out, the public was not impressed. This caused Marvin to throw a fit and not promote the album, so Motown had to try to promote it. Here is something that the label came up with. The album was not successful at all upon its release in 1978. This was the age of disco, and disco was ruling the charts. Saturday Night Fever and anything like it was what the people wanted to hear. Disco acts like the Bee Gees, Chic, Sylvester, Donna Summer, Blondie, Barry White, and Ashford and Simpson were all running circles around Marvin Gaye's flop album. People were dancing and having fun and being free. And here was Marvin Gaye, with his mix of soul, funk, and gospel with lyrics that were unpleasant and real. He hadn't changed his sound to catch up with the new era. His music was a real drag, and his timing for that sound couldn't have been worse. The album was a commercial and critical failure. It was so bad that many people were convinced that it was nothing more than Marvin's settlement with Anna Gordy and Motown, as opposed to being a sincere album by Marvin, which addressed the failure of his marriage. Quite a blow for an egomaniacal person like Marvin, I'm sure. After all, he couldn't blame his failure on people not wanting to hear about divorce when, just 1 year before he released his dud divorce album, Fleetwood Mac released their divorce album, Rumors. Rumors was forged in the ugly aftermath of breakups and divorces involving all 5 of its members. 2 couples in Fleetwood Mac were ending relationships, one on-again, off-again couple splitting up, and the other couple getting divorced after 8 years of marriage. And their drummer was in the midst of divorcing his wife. And some of the material in that album was about the breaking up of all of those couples. Well, completely unlike Marvin Gaye's Here My Dear album, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors sold like crazy and won the 1978 Grammy Award for Album of the Year. It is still regarded as one of the greatest albums in the history of pop music. So, the problem was Marvin. Another one of his quotes regarding Here My Dear was this, quote, "I'll give her my next album, but it'll be something she won't want to play, and it'll be something she won't want the world to hear, because I'm gonna tell the truth," end quote. I guess 1 point for Anna, because the world didn't hear it, as is evidenced by his dismal record sales. But Anna heard it. Marvin made sure that she heard it when he asked his engineer to play it for her. Reportedly, Anna listened and said very little and left the control room. Her review about his album would be made public. Very soon after hearing Marvin's songs, Anna publicly stated that she would sue Marvin Gaye for $5 million for invasion of privacy. Thankfully for Marvin, who was already very strapped for cash, the case never went to trial. Some of the lyrics were very mean-spirited. For example, here are some lyrics from one of the songs on that album. The song is called Is That Enough? "I don't know if I'm gonna get a yay or nay, or if I'm gonna do what His Honor says. Too possessive, jealous. She was too possessive, jealous," which is repeated 6 times in a row. "Is that enough? And I know that you just love that expensive stuff. The judge said she gotta keep on living the way she accustomed to. She tryna break a man. Why do I have to pay attorney fees? My baby's attorney fees. Oh baby, this is a joke. I need a smoke." Now, I just have to take a moment to point out the irony in the beginning of this song when he keeps referring to himself as young and dumb and a fool, as though he were a child who was taken advantage of, when at the same time he literally had a teenager pregnant. It is no surprise that when all was said and done, Here My Dear was not enough to settle his debts. Marvin Gaye was officially declared bankrupt and was obligated to make monthly payments to Anna. At the time of his death in 1984, 6 years later, even after the sexual healing era, Marvin still owed $293,000 to Anna. If he hadn't received that advance on his record and paid her money from those funds, Anna would likely have never seen a dime. 3 years after his death in 1987, Marvin Gaye was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Anna Gordy accepted the award on his behalf. She told Marvin Gaye's biographer, David Ritz, these rather soft words about her ex-husband, quote, "It's taken me a while, but with the passage of time, I've come to appreciate every form of Marvin's music, even songs written in anger. In the end, when he was very sick, he came to see me often. We stayed close." End quote. Anna Gordy wasn't the only woman who ever wanted to get away from Marvin Gaye. The teenager who was his mistress during his marriage to Anna became his second wife. I published a video about their debacle of a marriage that you can see here. I will also post a link to the video in the description box. My sources for this video are The Harvard Crimson, A Pop Life, and Detroit Is It. If you want text notifications so that you can get a text 15 minutes before I release a video or 15 minutes before I live stream, simply send a text to 786-632-2135 to let me know that you want text, and you will get an outgoing text message 15 minutes before I have a new video. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ty Said What Ty Said channel. Please leave a thumbs up and comment so that we can get a discussion going. And share this video on all of your social media, especially your Facebook. That really helps me out a lot. And subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know when my next video is ready for you. And if you don't like what I'm saying but you love it, feel free to hit that applaud button just below your video screen there and send me some
donations.
Yeah, baby. See you on the next video.